Marcus Reed driving towards home after a long night shift when he saw a wrecked car on the side of the road. Inside was a woman trapped, terrified, and barely conscious. He saved her without thinking twice. But what happened next shocked him. Marcus Reed had learned to live with noise, traffic, sirens, the old fridge humming in the corner of his small apartment. But tonight was different. Tonight the noise felt heavier, like the city was holding its breath. It was close to 2 in the morning when Marcus pushed open the building's front door. He was returning from his overnight warehouse shift, shoulders tired, hands rough, eyes burning from long hours. Being a single father meant rest never came easy, but it also meant he pushed forward anyway. He climbed the stairs quietly. He did not want to wake his 8-year-old son, Jaden. Their apartment was old but safe enough. The hall paint had peeled long ago and the flickering light bulb above the staircase buzzed every time someone walked past it. When Marcus reached the door, he paused. Something felt off. The apartment was too silent. Jaden was a playful kid. Even in sleep, he moved around enough to make some sound. Tonight, there was nothing. Marcus turned the key and stepped inside. The lights were off. The air felt colder than usual. He closed the door behind him and walked toward Jaden's room. He found his son sleeping peacefully, curled up with his superhero blanket. Relief washed over him, but only for a moment. There was another sound. A soft rustle coming from the kitchen. Marcus straightened. He had locked the door before leaving for work. He always did. A man raising a child alone didn't have room for mistakes. He moved carefully, adjusting his steps so the floorboards would not creak. The kitchen light was on. He never left it on. His heartbeat grew louder with each step. He reached the doorway. Someone was sitting at the small kitchen table. A woman, tall, calm, dressed in a navy business shirt that did not belong to her, and in front of her a glass of water untouched. Marcus felt like he had walked into a scene he could not explain. The woman lifted her eyes toward him. Her face was familiar in a way that made no sense at first. Then it clicked. She was the same woman he had helped hours earlier on the side of the road. Her car had been trapped under a fallen street sign after a late-night storm. He had dragged her out and called for medical help. She was shaken but conscious. He left only after seeing the paramedics arrive. He had no idea how she ended up here, and then the recognition hit even harder. He had seen her face on news interviews, business articles, company billboards downtown. Her name echoed in his mind like a sudden alarm. Evelyn Grant, founder and chief executive of a billion-dollar tech company. Marcus froze where he stood. His exhausted mind raced for an explanation. None came. The CEO looked at him with steady eyes. "We need to talk, Marcus." He did not know how she knew his name. He did not know why she was sitting in his kitchen. He only knew one thing. His ordinary life was about to change in a way he never saw coming. Marcus stood in the doorway, still trying to understand why a woman he barely knew sat inside his kitchen. At 2 in the morning, the light above her flickered slightly. Her hands were clasped on the table like she had been waiting for him. He moved slowly toward her. "Start talking. Why are you here?" Evelyn took a quiet breath before answering. "You helped me last night. You pulled me out of the car, and you stayed until someone arrived." Marcus nodded once. "Yes, and I left you with the paramedics. You should be in a hospital." Her eyes lowered for a moment. "I should be, but someone from my company arrived before the ambulance could take me. He insisted on handling everything. Something felt wrong. I slipped away and found a driver who brought me here." Marcus frowned. "How did you even get my address?" "You dropped a small card in my car. Your work ID. It had your address written on the back." Marcus cursed under his breath. He must have lost it while helping her. He crossed his arms. "That still does not explain why you are in my home wearing one of my shirts." She pointed toward the chair in the living room. "Your spare clothes were folded there. Mine were damaged. I needed something clean." Marcus felt his patience thinning. "Why me?" "Because I needed someone who does not benefit from hurting me. Someone who did the right thing without being asked." Marcus shook his head. "Lady, I am not a security guard. I am not part of any of your world." Evelyn leaned back slightly, her expression turning serious. "My accident last night was not an accident. Someone is trying to push me out of my company. They want control, and taking me out makes it easier for them." Marcus stared at her, unsure what to believe. She continued. "If I went to the hospital, they would have found me. If I went home, they would have followed. I needed a place no one would expect. You were the only person who helped me without hesitation. That is why I am here. Marcus ran a hand across his forehead. I have a kid in this apartment. I cannot let danger walk through my door. Her voice softened. I understand. I will not stay long. I just need a few hours to figure out what to do next. Marcus looked toward Jaden's room. His son was all he had. Every decision he made began and ended with that boy. He finally spoke. Fine. You can stay for tonight. This couch only. No walking around. No opening the door. Evelyn nodded. Thank you, Marcus. He did not answer. He only put a blanket on the couch, turned off the lights, and walked to his room. He closed the door halfway, still unsure whether he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. Marcus barely slept. Every small noise made him open his eyes. The ticking clock. A car driving past outside. The soft shift of the woman on the couch. His mind kept replaying the same questions. Why him? Why here? Why now? When the sun began to rise, he finally stood from the bed and stepped into the hallway. Evelyn was still awake. She sat upright on the couch, hands folded, almost like she had not rested at all. Marcus spoke first. You are still here. She nodded. I could not sleep. I needed to think. He crossed his arms. And what did you figure out? That I cannot go back to my office yet. Someone there wants me gone, and they will try again. Marcus exhaled slowly. You are asking for trouble to follow you. I know, but I will leave as soon as I have a safe place. I only need a little more time to reach someone I trust. Marcus leaned against the wall. What exactly are you running from? She hesitated before answering. There is a new project in my company, a major one. It could shift everything in the tech industry. A few board members want it under their control. Removing me clears their path. So this is about money, Marcus said quietly. Money, control, and revenge. I stopped someone from stealing from the company 2 years ago. He did not forget it. Now he has influence. Last night was his first move. Marcus studied her. Her tone was calm, but her eyes carried something heavier. You sound sure, because I know how these people work, and I know how far they are willing to go. Marcus walked to the window and looked outside. The street was quiet. A bus passed at the corner. Nothing looked unusual, yet he felt a tightness in his chest. He turned to her. If I help you and someone finds out, my son becomes a target. I cannot risk that. She lowered her head. I understand, and I would never ask you to put him in danger. I only need a short moment to regroup. Marcus paced slowly across the room. You needed someone who would not betray you. Yes. And you were the only person who acted without expecting anything. That made you the safest option. He stopped walking. And what do you want from me now? Just a little more time. A few hours. I can leave before noon. Marcus looked toward Jaden's room again. Protecting his son came first. Always. But something about the situation told him she truly had no one else. And maybe leaving her alone outside would be just as dangerous for them as keeping her here. He took a quiet breath. You stay until noon. After that, you leave. And no one must know you were ever here. Evelyn nodded. I agree. Thank you. Marcus turned away, unsure if he felt relieved or trapped. This was only the beginning. And he already knew that once this day ended, nothing in his simple life would stay simple anymore. Marcus brewed coffee quietly, careful not to wake his son. He moved around the kitchen with slow, practiced motions. The apartment felt different with another adult inside. Even though Evelyn sat still on the couch, her presence was impossible to ignore. She watched him, her posture straight, her hands folded neatly in her lap. You did not sleep much, did you? Marcus shrugged. Not with a stranger in my living room. She accepted the comment without reacting. I understand. And I appreciate that you let me stay. He placed a cup of coffee on the table in front of her. Drink this. You look like you need it. Thank you. She took a careful sip. Marcus watched her for a moment. Even with a swollen ankle, dried blood on her sleeve, and exhaustion all over her face, she still carried herself like someone used to being in control. He leaned against the counter. Tell me something. Last night, when you got out of that car, did you know it was coming? She set the cup down slowly. Not exactly, but I had a feeling something was wrong in the office. Meetings canceled without reason. People avoiding me. A few reports missing. Someone had been planning this for a while. Marcus rubbed the back of his neck. Lucky you were not alone out there. Her eyes softened. I know. You probably saved my life. The honesty in her voice made him pause. He did not feel like a hero. He was a father trying to make ends meet. But saving her pulled him into a world he knew nothing about. The sound of a bedroom door opening interrupted them. Jaden walked out, rubbing his eyes, still half asleep. "Dad, you home?" Marcus forced a smile. "Yeah, buddy, I am home." Jaden noticed Evelyn on the couch. "Who is she?" Marcus replied quickly. "She is a friend from last night. Her car broke down. She needed a safe place to wait until the morning." Jaden nodded easily. "Oh, okay." Evelyn offered a small smile. "Hi, Jaden." "Hi." He waved politely before walking to the kitchen to grab cereal. Marcus pulled him aside gently. "You eat and get ready for school. I will drop you off today." Jaden nodded and sat at the table. Marcus turned back to Evelyn. "You leave once I come back from school, drop off." That was the plan. She nodded. "Yes, but I need your help with one more thing. Only one." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "What now?" "I need to pick up a file from my office. Without it, I cannot protect myself." Marcus stared at her. "You said someone is trying to kill you, and you want to walk into that same building. Not walk in. Just access a side room. The file is hidden there. It is the only proof I have of who is behind all this. Without it, I will always be running." Marcus felt the pressure building again. This was supposed to be simple. One night. One safe place. But nothing about this situation was simple anymore. He sighed heavily. "We will talk about it after I drop my son." Evelyn nodded. "I will be ready." Marcus did not like the sound of that. By the time Marcus returned from dropping Jaden at school, the morning had shifted from calm to tense. A black SUV was parked at the corner of the block. The windows were tinted. The engine was running. The vehicle did not belong to anyone in this neighborhood. Marcus walked slowly, scanning the street like he had done hundreds of times before. But today felt different. He pushed open the building door and climbed the stairs quickly. Inside the apartment, Evelyn stood near the window with her arms folded. "I saw them too. The SUV. They have been circling for the past 10 minutes. Marcus locked the door behind him. "You think they are looking for you?" "Yes, and if they find me, they will not leave quietly." Marcus stepped to the window. "Do they know where you are?" "I do not think so, but they are checking every street near my route home. They know I never made it to the hospital." Marcus cursed under his breath. "This is getting worse." Evelyn turned to him. "Which is why I need that file. It has names, signatures, transfers, everything. If I get it, I can prove what they are planning. If I do not, they will erase me and take the company by force." Marcus stared at her. "Why hide the file in the office?" "Because I knew someone might come after me. I did not trust digital storage. I put the evidence in a hidden drawer in a storage room. Only I know where it is." Marcus shook his head slowly. "You are asking me to walk into the lion's mouth. I am asking you to drive me close enough so I can slip in without being noticed. 5 minutes. That is all I need." Marcus looked down at his hands. He worked hard to build a simple, quiet life for his son. But now life was pulling him into something dangerous. He walked to the hallway and grabbed his jacket. "If those men in the SUV catch you here, Jaden is in danger. I cannot risk that." Evelyn nodded. "I know. That is why I must go." He looked her in the eyes. "We do this fast. We do this smart. And once you have the file, you leave." She held his gaze. "I promise." Marcus opened the door and checked the hallway. Calm, quiet, too quiet. He motioned to her. "Let's move." The moment she stepped into the hallway, Marcus knew one thing. They had just crossed a line they could not step back from. The next morning started earlier than usual. Jaden was already awake, playing with his toy robots on the living room carpet. Marcus stood at the counter pouring cereal into bowls when Evelyn walked out of the guest room. She had tied her hair back. She had changed into her own clothes. But she still looked exhausted, like her mind had not rested at all. "Good morning," she said softly. Jaden stared at her like she was a new superhero who had suddenly appeared in his house. "Are you Marcus' friend?" the boy asked. The question hung in the air. Marcus did not know what to say. Evelyn answered for him. "Your dad helped me when I really needed it," she said. "So today I'm here to say thank you and to fix a few things." "Fix what?" Marcus asked. "You will see," she replied. The conversation stopped when Jaden started telling her about school. Evelyn listened with surprising patience. Marcus watched the scene with a confused mix of caution and curiosity. After breakfast, he walked her to the door. "Why are you really here?" he asked. "Because I owe you more than you understand," she said. "And I am not leaving until I make something right." "Right about what?" he pressed. She looked like she wanted to say it but held back. "Let me gather everything first," she said. "Then I will tell you everything." She stepped out, leaving Marcus standing in silence once again. It was late afternoon when Evelyn returned. This time she was not alone. She carried a black folder under her arm, the type used in boardrooms and legal meetings. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. "Sit down," Evelyn said. "I need to show you something important." She placed the folder on the kitchen table. Her expression was controlled but tense, like she was preparing for a difficult truth. Marcus opened the folder slowly. Inside were documents, printed emails, and a set of financial statements. He did not understand most of it. "What is this?" he asked. "Evidence," Evelyn said. "And all of it affects you." Marcus looked up sharply. Evelyn sat across from him and folded her hands. "You remember how we first met? The storm. The street sign. Me trapped in the car." He nodded. "That was not an accident," she said. "Someone planned it. Someone inside my company. Someone who knew I was investigating a fraud case." Marcus felt the room shift. "What does that have to do with me?" he asked quietly. Evelyn leaned forward. "The man responsible used your name. He used your background. He created fake transactions under your identity so that if I ever exposed the fraud, the blame would fall on you, not him. You were supposed to be the scapegoat." Marcus felt a cold shock ripple through him. Evelyn continued. "I found the connection last night. Your name was in the file, your tax ID, your address. If I had not discovered it on time, investigators would have shown up here before the end of the week." Marcus gripped the edges of the table. "You are saying someone tried to frame me?" "Not tried," Evelyn said. "They already did. But I am going to fix it. And I need your help to expose who did this." The room went silent. Marcus tried to steady his breathing. His simple life. His son. Everything he cared about was suddenly tied to something he never saw coming. He looked at the folder again, then at Evelyn. "Tell me what you need me to do." Evelyn nodded. "We start tonight." Marcus sat on the couch while Evelyn laid out her plan like a strategist preparing for a difficult mission. She placed 2 more folders beside the first one. "These hold every detail about the fraud," Evelyn said, "but we have to capture the person handling everything. His name is Richard Hale. He is my financial director. He has been stealing money from the company for almost a year." Marcus frowned. "Why me?" "Because he used your identity," she said. "It is the only reason I found the truth. He tried to hide behind your name. Now we will use that mistake against him." She explained the setup. Richard was expecting a transfer request that Evelyn had, supposedly approved before the accident. She would schedule the transfer and let him log in to authorize it. But they would record every step. The login, the actions, the IP address, the timestamps. Everything needed to prove he was the real culprit. "He will panic once he sees the system tracking him," she said, "and panic makes people expose themselves." Marcus listened carefully. This was nothing like his simple warehouse shifts, nothing like the quiet routine he lived with Jaden. But he knew he had no choice. "When do we start?" he asked. "Tonight, but we must go to my office. All of it has to happen inside company servers." The thought made Marcus uneasy. "I have never stepped into a billion-dollar office building," he muttered. Evelyn gave a small smile. "Just stay close. I will handle everything else." The elevator doors opened on the top floor of Grant Tech Tower. The place looked unreal to Marcus. Glass walls, polished floors, security cameras in every direction. The kind of environment meant for powerful people. Not men who worked night shifts to support a child. Evelyn scanned her card and entered her office. The room was sleek and modern, with 2 wide screens already glowing on her desk. "Sit here," she said, pointing to a chair beside her. "You will only observe. Do not say anything unless I ask." Marcus nodded and sat down. Evelyn opened her laptop and began typing fast. Within minutes, she had activated a tracking system and set up a screen recording. "It is ready," she said. "Now we wait." 10 minutes passed. Then 15. Then the system pinged. "He is logging in," Evelyn whispered. On the screen, they watched the financial dashboard open. A cursor moved quickly. Someone was trying to process the transfer. Marcus held his breath as the cursor opened a hidden admin menu. Evelyn pressed a key, triggering the tracking sequence. Suddenly, a red warning banner popped up on Richard's screen. Unauthorized access detected. Session recording enabled. There was a long pause. Then the cursor jerked wildly. The user panicked. The IP address was exposed. The login history appeared. A hidden folder opened, showing downloads connected to Marcus' identity. Evelyn leaned forward. There it is. That is everything we need. At that exact moment, the office door slammed open. Richard stormed in, his face red, his breath heavy. He glared at Evelyn, then at Marcus. "You think you can set me up?" he shouted. Evelyn stood from her chair, calm and steady. "I did not set you up," she said. "You did this to yourself. And now the evidence is recorded." Richard clenched his fists. He looked ready to attack. Marcus stood up slowly, stepping between them without thinking. "Back off," he said. For a moment, Richard froze. Then he turned and ran down the hall. "Security," Evelyn said. "They will stop him." She watched the screen again, her voice steady. "It is over. He cannot escape this now." Marcus felt tension drain from his shoulders, but he knew the story was not finished. Back at the apartment later that night, Marcus sat on the couch while Jaden slept peacefully in the next room. Evelyn stood near the window, looking out at the city lights. "You saved yourself and your company tonight," Marcus said. Evelyn shook her head. "You helped me more than you realize. If you had not rescued me that night, I would not be alive, and Richard would have taken everything." Marcus hesitated. "So what happens now?" Evelyn walked toward him. "Now I clear your name officially. I will issue an internal report tomorrow and inform the investigators. Your identity will be removed from the case. You will be protected." Marcus exhaled slowly. He finally felt the tightness in his chest begin to fade. Evelyn took a breath. "There is one more thing. I want to offer you something. A job, a new start. You deserve more than night shifts and stress. Someone with your instinct and courage can do bigger things." Marcus looked at her, unsure what to say. "Why me?" he asked. "Because some people wait for luck," she said, "and some people are luck for others. You were mine that night. Let me return the favor." There was a long pause. Then Marcus nodded. "All right, I will try." A small smile touched Evelyn's face. "Good. Then this is not the end. This is the beginning." Marcus looked toward Jaden's room. For the first time in a long time, the future felt like something he could reach. And as Evelyn stepped out of the apartment, Marcus felt a quiet truth settle inside him. Life does not always give warnings. Sometimes it brings storms, and sometimes, if you are lucky, it brings someone who walks in with answers you never expected. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more true and untold stories, where pain turns into power, and truth always finds its way.